Hello everyone. I recently got to go to the Pinagogo Pinball Festival in Dixon, California. The tagline for that show is the longest running pinball show west of the Mississippi, so that's fun. It's a relatively small show, but I have a lot of fun at it, and also it's the closest one to my house, so that makes it convenient. I was able to go to the swap meet on Saturday and talk to people about my CobraPin pinball controller for making re-themes or custom games. So that was good, and I was also able to catch up with one of my Kickstarter backers. Also, the solar eclipse was happening at the same time, so somebody brought out solar eclipse watching glasses, so that was neat to see. So at the show, I got to play Foo Fighters again. I really like that game. It's probably going to be the next Stern game that I own. I like the theme, I like the flow of the game. I also happen to have like my worst games that weekend, so whatever, it was still fun. So there were a number of games at the show that I had never played before and got the opportunity to play. One of those games was Venom, and I enjoyed the game. I don't normally like games that only have two flippers, but I thought this was one of the better ones for sure. I really appreciated the staging of the balls that kind of increase the speed of the game and also contribute to kind of a feeling of controlled chaos, which I think is fitting for the game. One downside of the game, and maybe it was just my mood at the time, but for whatever reason, that game seemed extremely flashy, like overly so. I wish it was toned down just a little bit so that I didn't feel like I was going to go into an epileptic episode. I got to play James Bond. I did think it was a fun game. The rocket seems wrong. That's weird. It's a floppy rocket, and that's just weird. I don't know why they did that. However, the right combo ramp is interesting. I think it's a good use of space, and I felt very satisfying to hit it from both directions. So I enjoyed the game, but I probably won't own it at any point. Another older game that I got to play was No Fear. It's not the most complex game, but I still thought it was fun, and the jump orbit shot from the upper flipper I thought was pretty great, and you could get the ball going crazy fast around that orbit. So that was fun. One of the complaints that I've heard about the game is that it's lame because, it's basically only a ramp and orbit shooter. There's not much else going on other than ramps and orbits. And that's apparently bad, I guess. Yeah, I mean, ramps and orbits happens to be my favorite part of pinball, so I don't have a problem with that, and the game seemed to flow. So I still enjoyed it, and from what I can tell, it seems to be an underrated game. Another game that I got to play was Jersey Jack's Guns N' Roses, and in that game, apparently there's a multi-ball that refuses to end. I don't know, I was playing a multi-ball and I wasn't actually doing that great, but it just kept giving me more balls. I don't know why. So that was strange, but rewarding at the same time. So it was still fun, but with all the space that game has, it still feels so crowded, and I didn't feel like I could get anything moving in a cohesive direction. It was just mostly bashing around, and I'm not that good of a player, so I guess that kind of makes sense, but the game did feel cramped. So another game that I was super excited to see when I first walked in was Bonsai Run. I had never played that game, and it's an older game. I think it's from '88 or something, and boy, that is a fantastic game for its time. So looking at the game online, I thought the back box playfield was a little gimmicky, but when I played it in person, it actually was quite interesting and kind of broke up the gameplay and gave you a different challenge during the game than you would normally feel. So I thought it actually worked really well, and just the transition from the bottom playfield up to the back box playfield I thought was worked really well. I also thought the light and sound package was both helpful and rewarding. You know, it kind of told you what to do, and it wasn't annoying. You know, it wasn't a shoot the pyramid kind of situation on Stargate. It told you who you needed to defeat and which targets you needed to go for. And then, man, like when you hit the cycle jump at the end, it was very exciting, and you felt like you accomplished something. So if I were to give out awards for the games that I thought were the most fun, it would be Bally Flip Flop for the EM games. I have a soft spot in my heart for that game just because that's the first game I ever repaired and restored, and it is a fun 4-flipper EM game. And then on the solid state side, I would say the runner-up for the show was Venom, probably partially due to the fact that it's one of the newest games out there, so you know, there's kind of an infatuation with the new ones. So that's the runner-up, but I would say the most fun that I had was Bonsai Run. And so if you had a part in making that game, you did an excellent job. I appreciate you. I am definitely not the best player, and I was so happy that I got 2.5 million points on my first try. I don't know if that's a good score, but it felt good, and I think that's the point of pinball, is like make you feel good and make you want to come back and play it again. I actually came back the second day to and brought my young children with me, because I told them, oh, you got to play this Bonsai Run, it's super fun. And unfortunately the game was turned off. I don't know if it got damaged in some way, but it was turned off. So yeah, I think that's just really telling of a good game, is when you know, want to bring other people to play it, and that was definitely the case with Bonsai Run. So yeah, I had a great time at Pinagogo 2023. And check it out next year if you're interested, in Dixon, California. Also, I can't end the video without the shameless plug for the CobraPin pinball controller. Check it out. I sell them on Pinside. And so if you're interested in building a custom pinball machine or retheming a game, changing out all the lights and code and everything, check out the CobraPin pinball controller and Mission Pinball framework. And I will see you next time.